Hello, how we process student visa for New Zealand? What kind of English is this? Like we say, we are looking at the question. How we process student visa? Oh, I think this question is about how to process student visa in New Zealand. So to do that, you have to have an admission, an offer of admission to a university or Institute of Technology or Polytechnic. Then you can start applying for the visa, meet all the requirements, submit it, they approve it, you come. Chicken out. But again, this video on my channel talks about it in much details. So go there and watch the video. But that's just a simple step. Get an offer of admission, unconditional, apply for the visa, pay the fees, they give you the visa. If they approve it, you travel and come to New Zealand, you study, you get your degree. Shikina, that's how you do it. Good day, sis. Please guide me on how to get admitted for PhD program in New Zealand. I will forever be grateful if you can be of help. Not a problem. And I really understand this person because when I was applying for my PhD, it was very strange to me. The websites were strange. Everything was strange. There was no one around me who was in New Zealand to even ask. Everything was different. So I legit was just going with, like, what's the worst that will happen? What's the worst that will happen? That's how I did my thing. If you want to get admitted for a PhD in New Zealand, you need to apply for admission. There are different ways you can approach this. But basically, in order to even start a PhD, you will need a supervisor. So finding that supervisor is where some people struggle. To study for a PhD anywhere in the world, you need a supervisor. In New Zealand, there are some universities that do not require you to have a supervisor at the time of application, which means you can submit your application for admission without having a supervisor ready to supervise you. And then along the line, a supervisor will get in touch with you and you guys have the discussion. But it is always better and your chances are higher, your chances of getting admission is higher if you have a supervisor willing to support you from the get-go. Because sometimes some faculties they may have too many PhD students, so they can't really take someone. So, it's 50-50. Some people actually just, took a stab at it and found a supervisor that reached out to them. And yeah, the rest is history. So now, how do you get to that stage where you are offered admission to study for a PhD? There are different approaches to it. And I always say in PhD, you're going to be doing research. So you need to start practicing research, start searching. You have to decide on the area you want to focus on in your research. Then look for lecturers, professors in that field. So I said 8 universities, right? Go to these universities, check the faculties, find the ones you like, reach out to them, send them an email, reach out to them on LinkedIn, try and get in touch with them, those cold emails, but don't just say hello and stop there. You have to, really market yourself, because amongst the sea of PhD students, why should that person choose you? Once you are able to source a supervisor that agrees to supervise you, then you go on to apply. Like I said, the other case, you may not need to have a supervisor, you can still go and apply straight away. But to apply, you are going to be asked for your CV, you are going to write a research proposal. So you need to find something that you're going to be researching that is relevant to that faculty, New Zealand in general. Because all these grants you are getting is not for the sake of grants because they have money. They're always targeted. So what we always advise people to do is explore all the universities, look at the faculties. When they say faculty, they are the staff in that department or faculty. So I was confused when I was searching one time, like faculty, because what I understand as faculty is a next level after department. So a faculty has a lot of departments, but how they define faculty in some of these universities means the staff. So pay attention to all those differences. I know it's confusing, but you are a potential PhD student. So this is where you put on your research cap and start doing that research. you will need to sing as much as possible. Don't let it deter you. Don't, one rejection make you feel sad. Be ready, because not all of them will answer you. Some of them is not intentionally because they are busy. Some of them, they are full. There's only so many PhD students a lecturer can have in 1 year. And some of them would not necessarily want to take students without funding. So if they don't have enough funding to cover that research, they may not want. So they also need to be sure that you can support yourself. In case they want to take you and they don't have funding, can you sponsor yourself? So yeah, that's what I can say. That you need that initial test to get the supervisors, and it will take a lot of work, groundwork. So LinkedIn is your friend. The university website is your best friend. Read all their profile. You can even go the next step of reading their articles. That's a lot. And reach out to their current students. And if you know their past students, reach out to them as well. Again, they may not respond to you, but at least you know that you tried. This one is asking about affordable universities in New Zealand. And honestly, they are about the same. Well, I would say polytechnics are slightly cheaper than universities. Well, some polytechnics are slightly cheaper than universities. But it depends on the degree and the program of study. The differences could be like $5,000 to $10,000, yeah, between all the universities. The only difference you will really see is difference between a diploma and a master's. Those are the differences. PhD, of course, PhD is the cheapest across board because of the subsidized fees. Hello, Sassy. Thanks a lot. Blah, blah, blah. Please, which is better to enroll in, university or polytechnic? Anyone. It all depends on you. I can't really, because the way New Zealand is set up is they've made sure that at least the quality of education is at least good. Then you have those exceptional. So any of them is good. Now depends on what you want to study. I want to do masters. I have a 2-2 in my bachelor's, but I've been struggling to get admission. So as you would know, as it applies to other countries, to get admission for masters, there is a certain academic requirement, and you have to meet or surpass that to qualify to apply, to be eligible to apply for admission. Now, I do not know that at the back of my head, but I believe that you need at least a B+ to be able to do a master's. Different university and different programs have their minimum requirements. So what I can advise you to do is to check through, don't just apply. Check through all the universities and the program of study that you want to do. Find out their requirements and apply. It may be that you will need to do maybe a graduate diploma or some kind of A-levels to top up to apply. It may be that that's not the case. So you will probably also need to have your qualification assessed to see if your 2-2 matches, which I don't think it does anyway. But look out for those academic requirements first before you start applying. If you just jump into applying, chances are you may not be eligible and they will deny your application. So that's that for that. All right. Planning on moving to New Zealand. I'm hearing there are no jobs in the country. I'm really scared. There are jobs in the country, because this same New Zealand that I'm hearing that there are no jobs is the same New Zealand that there are a lot of people that are moving to. So yes, people are moving away. That is true. But people are also moving back. Yes, times are not as easy as they used to be 5 years ago. That is 100% true. And you need a lot of resilience. Government laid off a lot of people last year. That is true. Is it fair to say that it's not easy these days? Absolutely. What is your field? What is your area of expertise? What kind of roles are you looking for? Because some countries, every country has their strength, their in-demand jobs. So I think you should decide on that first. And then look at it and see, is that New Zealand's strong point? Is that where their demand is? If not, consider other places. I always tell people, New Zealand is one out of many countries in the world. So it does not necessarily have to be New Zealand. Okay? What New Zealand could just help you do is to, learn the skills of how to research these things. So yeah, is it a difficult time now compared to last year or 2 years ago? Yeah, it's a bit difficult. Are people moving out of New Zealand? Yeah. Are people also coming to New Zealand? Yes. Yeah. So I don't think it's easy anyway, to be honest. The times are really strange these days. But I think it will pass soon. I'd like to know more about New Zealand study route for masters, and if there is January intake, I will appreciate your response. The year of study in New Zealand starts around February and ends around November. So some universities have 3 intakes in a year, but typically 2 in a year is what you will see. And January and around July or September. July. Yeah, January, July. Those are the 2 common ones. Hey Sassy, thank you for your insight on New Zealand. I intend to visit New Zealand soon and you gave me motivation. Hope to see you in person one day in New Zealand. Thank you, I appreciate that. That is really sweet. Anywhere you go.